Welcome back to part 20 of my 1 to 60 Alliance leveling guide. We left off at level 56 flying to Lakeshire in Red Ridge Mountains. Now on your way to Lakeshire and all through this next area, start advertising for a group for the quest Dragonkin Menace. This is an elite quest in Burning Steppes where we'll be heading next. The quest is the first step in the Onyxia attunement chain. We cannot solo it, but the chain gives a lot of experience, so it's really nice to do it before we're level 60. We only really need one other person to help us do it, and they can be as low as level 50. So if you are rushing, you probably won't find anyone, but you should still definitely try. When you land in Lakeshire, follow the road east and north out of Red Ridge until you reach the Burning Steppes. There's some imps here that act as a deterrent for would-be lowbie explorers, but we can just run past them. Once you get in Burning Steppes, curve around the eastern mountain and find the path up into Morgan's Vigil. Grab the flight path and then accept from the dwarf the quest Extinguish the Fire Gut, 50, yep! And then take Dragonkin Menace nearby.
See you soon. Be good.
Then we will ride across the Burning Steppes to the north, just a bit west of where we were. You should find a ramp up north and then a bridge leading to the cave at Flamecrest. Here, we only want to take two quests, the Tablet of the Seven and Broodling Essence. The rest of these are Blackrock Depths and Lower Blackrock Spire quests, and don't piss off the Horde Flightmaster while you're here. Now, as you are doing Burning Steppes quests, anytime you get a group, go and do the Dragonkin Menace quests, which I will quickly cover first, as we'll do it in tandem with the Broodling Essence quest. The quest basically just wants us to kill a bunch of elite dragons and whelps. We can easily duo any of them as a warrior by just getting threat on the targets and kiting them while our party member kills them. You can disarm the dragon spawn, but make sure to interrupt the wormkin.
Need more rage. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. Not enough rage.
The drakes spawn all along the eastern side of Burning Steppes, as do the other dragons spawn appear in a lot of places around Burning Steppes.
Not ready yet. I can't. It's too far away.
For the whelps, we also need to use the machine on them we got for the quest Broodling Essence. This will allow us to loot the essences after the whelps die. It has to be used on them while they're still alive though, so ideally start the fights by using it on them. If you don't do the elite and just kill the broodlings, keep note that despite being non-elite, these broodlings do pack a punch, so make sure you interrupt their breath attacks when you can. While you are killing around here, be sure to also make your way to the far northeastern mountains where you'll find an NPC with a quest in a cave. He basically wants to see your Black Dragon fight molt, and then he gives you free experience for it. And then the follow-up is a Blackrock Depths quest. So make sure you get that done while you're in this area.
That ability isn't
Once you kill all the dragons and get all the broodling essences, we'll be done in this area and we can start working on the easier quests. We'll start with the quest Extinguish the Fire Gut. It wants us to kill lots of ogres all around Dreadmaul Rock. It's just north of Morgan's Vigil. The ogres are green to us and very easy to kill. Some spawn south of the rock, there are ways up top, and there are 2 caves inside. There's nothing worth mentioning except they all use Flame Strike, so move out of the fire on the ground when they cast it to take less damage and lower your downtime. Once you kill all the 29 ogres you need to finish the quest, you should head back to Morgan's Vigil. Turn in the quest Extinguish the Fire Gut and accept the follow-up Gortesh the Brute.
Be good. What's on your mind? See you soon.
When you turn in Dragonkin Menace, if you did it already, make sure you also accept the follow-up True Masters. Then we will ride west through Burning Steppes. We want to kill Gortesh the Brute, but he spawns in a bit of a weird spot in the bunker far west, just sitting off the road. So follow it and you should find him walking in and out of the bunker. On your way to him though, you should find plenty of Blackrock mobs we need to kill for the quest 50. Yep! The Blackrock guys can hit hard, so try to avoid double pulls and instead pick off the single pulls you find on your way to Gortesh. But you don't need to finish this right away. If you have trouble with them, do note that the wolves in this zone also drop the medallions for the quest 50. Yep. Gortesh himself isn't elite, but he hits really hard, so wait patiently for a single pull on him as he goes in and out of the bunker. Then, when he's dead, make sure to grab his lopped off head. Now clear around here for more medallions to complete 50. Yep, you can finish the quest here, or instead also go northeast to the Blackrock stronghold and kill some there. There's plenty of Blackrock orcs around Burning Steppes, so kill them until you manage to finish the quest 50. Yep.
More rage.
Once it's finished, we will then head northeast over the road into the ruins of Thaurissan. On the western end of the ruins, you'll find a destroyed building with a big dwarf statue. Clear to the statue and interact with the stone in front of it to complete the quest Tablet of the Seven. Then we basically just run around the ruins here looking for these stone tablets for the quest Smoldering Ruins of Thaurissan. We need to recover 12 of them to complete the quest. The mobs around them are honestly really annoying. The golems are always high armor and immune to bleeds and poison. The dwarves cast annoying abilities, but if you interrupt them, you should be okay. Once you finish recovering the tablets and complete Smoldering Ruins of Thaurissan, head back to Flamecrest to the north. Turn in the quest Tablet of the Seven and Broodling Essence and accept the follow-up Felnock Steel Spring.
Time is money, friend. Glad I could help.
Then ride south back to Morgan's Vigil. In the Vigil, turn in the quest 50, yep, and Gortesh the Brute Lord, and accept the follow-up Ogre Head on a Stick equals Party.
Keep your feet on the ground. Safe travels.
The last quest essentially just wants us to run up to the top of Dreadmaw Rock. We can get up by clearing around the west side and find the path up the rock over the bridge.
I'm out of range. I'm out of range. Not ready yet. I'm out of range.
The mound we need to put the stick in is just south of the cave.
Ready yet. Not ready yet.
Once you put the stick in the mound, the quest should complete, run back to Morgan's Vigil and turn in the quest. Once you are back in Morgan's Vigil and turn in the quest, that's it for Burning Steps. If you were able to do the quest Dragonkin Menace, we will fly to Lakeshire right now, but otherwise you can Hearth and skip this next step and go right to Menethil. When you land in Lakeshire, go into the Town Hall and turn in the quest The True Masters, except the follow-up quest of the same name. Then you can Hearth as well, back to Menethil like everyone else.
What can I do for you?
From Menethil, we want to go to Chillwind Point. There's two things about getting there though. If you did Sunken Temple, you should go to the hinterlands first to turn in the quest Jamalan the Prophet. Otherwise you can run to Chillwind Camp from South Shore, or Airy Peak, or you may already have the flight path. In my case, I will fly to the hinterlands. I will run to Shadra Allure to turn in the last dungeon quest, Jamalan the Prophet,
Who you'll be? See ya later.
and then I will go up to the Shindigger's camp and continue following it north through the mountains into western Plaguelands. Now for some reason, this path is cursed and does insane fall damage, and despite me knowing this from previous runs, I still die to this shit every fucking time. Anyway, follow the paths you need, however you can get there, and reach Chillwind Point. In Chillwind Point, turn in the quest A Call to Arms Plaguelands and accept Clear the Way. Also turn in the Everlook report and talk to the Argent officer to get your Argent Dawn commission, and grab the flight path if you didn't already.
Be careful. Hey there. Safe travels. Well met.
As you kill undead from here on out, try to always have the Argent Dawn commission equipped so that the undead drop Scourge Stones. It's a nice way to get more Argent Dawn rep later down the line, but either way, we're gonna go east into Sorrow Hill and start killing the undead here. These undead should be easy peasy for us. They're 6 levels below us, so grind through them until you get the 10 that you need of each type. This is a popular AoE mage grind spot though, so group up if needed to get this done so we can start working on the follow-ups.
Not ready yet. Need more rage. That ability isn't ready yet.
Once you finish the quest, go back to Chillwind Point, turn in the quest Clear the Way and accept both follow-ups all along the Watchtowers and the Scorched Cauldrons, then turn in the Scorched Cauldrons nearby for the quest Target Felstone Fields.
See you later.
You need something? Farewell.
Clear up your bags and then ride back through Sorrow Hill. This time we will take the road north until you reach the bridge into Ruins of Andorhal. Welcome to hell, basically. I freaking hate Andorhal. The mobs here are tightly packed, there's elites walking around the roads, so make sure you don't go near the roads at any point here, and the acolytes in this area cast huge damage spells and heal themselves. We need to clear to the 4 watchtowers around Andorhal marked on your map. When we clear to each tower, we need to place a quest item torch in front of the tower's front door to complete the quest, without aggroing the elite that's inside.
Not enough rage.
The quest by itself isn't that hard. What's annoying is just Andorhal itself. Firstly, you should do your best to avoid double pulls here. It's tightly packed and all of these mobs suck. Let's go over the 4 types you'll find. Firstly, Skeletal Executioners. These guys are bros, they're just tank and spanks. If you can choose a path with these guys and another mob, always choose the Executioners. The second type is the Acolytes. They spam Shadow Bolts and they try to heal themselves at low HP. Interrupt them or they will hurt and kill you, and double pulling them is very deadly. The third type is the Searing Ghouls. They cast Flame Shock and Blast Wave. Both hurt a ton and you can't interrupt them either. 2 Burning Ghouls usually means you'll die from the amount of damage they do. And the fourth type, Soulless Ghouls, they put a horrible debuff on you, so try to interrupt them, and they also cast Shadow Bolt. The debuff stacks, so try to let it clear before you pull more Soulless Ghouls. Use this information to clear to the front of each of the 4 watchtowers. I recommend you use every opportunity to walk around the outside of Andorhal as you make your way to the 4 towers, rather than trying to clear through Andorhal. Once you've lit all 4 and complete the quest all along the watchtowers, we want to go north of Andorhal towards Felstone Fields. When you get here, the first thing you want to do is get into the northern farmhouse safely. The undead here are lower level, so it shouldn't cause much problems, but they are tightly packed, so being swarmed is a big concern. Pay attention to the various debuffs these guys have and interrupt the sorcerer Frostbolts when you can. The house itself is also tightly packed, so safely pull the mobs outside one by one until you get access to the second floor. Talk to the ghost NPC here and accept the quest from her, better late than never. Then we will clear our way back out and start working on our second objective, the cauldron in the middle of the fields. The cauldron is the first of 4 identical quests. It basically requires us to kill the cauldron lord, who will spawn near the front of the cauldron when you approach it. Once he dies, you loot his key and then you use it to interact with the cauldron and complete the quest for a follow-up. The mobs here are again tightly packed, so the only real threat is pulling too many. It's particularly risky for this first cauldron because of the ranged attacking skeletal sorcerers and there's no readily available line of sight, which means to get a clean pull off the cauldron lord you have to ranged pull with the sorks. The quest is a bit bugged on the private servers of course, where the lord is always up in front of the cauldron, rather than only spawning when you approach as it was in vanilla, so technically this makes it harder. When you kill the Cauldron Lord and get to the Cauldron, complete the quest Target Felstone Fields, make sure you take the follow-up from the Cauldron as well, return to Chillwind Camp, and then we'll work on the last objective here. We need to get inside that barn. Unfortunately, in front of the barn is a giant pole of Scarlet Crusade dudes, and there's about 4 to 5 in total. They have healers, DPS, all that jazz. We don't actually need to fight them to get in the barn. We only need to wait until they get in combat with undead, because while they're in combat, they can't get in combat with us. So time yourself a window that lets you run past them while they are distracted and get inside the barn. Kill the mobs inside and loot the box here to turn in the quest at better late than never and accept the follow-up. Then try to sneak back outside. And with that, we are done here, so make your way around Andorhal and back to Chilwyn Point. Turn in the quest all along the watchtowers and accept the quest Scholomance, and then turn that in nearby for the quest Skeletal Fragments.
Be careful. Good day to you. See you around.
Then turn in Return to Chilwyn Camp and accept the follow-up Target Dalson's Tears.
Go with honor, friend.
Clear your bags and then we'll head back north around Andorhal. However, this time around you should keep in mind that we do want to complete the quest Skeletal Fragments on the next 2 cycles. It wants us to loot skeletal fragments that only drop off of the skeleton type mobs like the Executioners and the Acolytes in Andorhal. So kill them in excess in the next farms and around Andorhal for these next parts to try and get it done. Once you are north of Andorhal, go northeast to find the Dalson's Tears farm. At this farm we want to once again clear to the cauldron, just like before. Try to avoid using any cooldowns here though, as we've got a tough fight coming up. For this farm, the zombies suck, the rotting cadavers will spawn 2 worms when they die, another type puts a disease on you that makes you pulse damage on yourself which interrupts eating and bandages. This is going to be a common theme here through western and eastern Plaguelands, just tons of debuffs everywhere. We just gotta suck it up. As for the Cauldron Lord here, he summons skeletons, so make sure you try to interrupt them when he starts casting, or it can get hectic. Once he's dead, loot his key and go to the cauldron and turn in Target Dalson's Tears and accept the follow-up Return to Chilwyn Camp.
Not enough rage.
Then we want to work on this farm's hidden quest. It's a little bit rough. Firstly, like the last farm, we need to get into the barn. So once again, wait for the Scarlets to fight something. Don't let your disease accidentally tick on them as you run by if you have the pulsing disease on you. Inside, clear around the barn and you'll find a book on the ground. When you interact with it, it'll just complete a quest, Mrs. Dalson's Diary. This will ready us for the next quest. We need to find a special named skeleton called a Wandering Skeleton around Dalson's Tears. It roams around the houses and can roam around the fields too. Usually you'll find it around the houses though. When you find it, kill it and you'll get the Dalson's outhouse key. And behind the farmhouse, you will find the outhouse. Before you use the key in the outhouse, make sure you are full HP and buffed, as when you use the key, Farmer Dalson will come out, and he's beastly. He's not elite, but he does damage like he's an elite. He'll enrage, and he hits insanely hard, so prepare to pop a potion, hamstring kite, and bandage, and use intercept.
Far away. That ability isn't ready yet.
When you get him down, loot his cabinet key, and then the last step is to clear into the farmhouse. Get to the second floor by carefully pulling the clustered mobs inside, and then go to the cabinet on the second floor. Interact with it, and you should be able to complete the quest locked away for a huge chunk of XP. And with that, we are done with Dalson Tiers, so go back outside, but from here we want to run north towards the North Ridge Lumber Mill. We want to get a quest from an NPC that's hidden a bit in the hills northeast of the lumber mill. The path dips downwards into a mini crater with a wagon and a quest giver beside it. When you find your way here, talk to the NPC Kirsta Deep Shadow and accept the quest Unfinished Business, then ride back south hugging the eastern hills. This quest wants us to kill 2 medics, hunters, mages, and knights. We can find them south here on the path leading towards Hearthglen. You should find the mages and the knights on this path at the first 2 lines of defense. The tricky part here is how clustered these mobs are together and the numerous patrols that go up and down this road. Our priority should be the mages, as they are harder to get and they're harder to single pull given the nature of them spamming spells when we aggro them. Try to find solo pulls of the mages, as these mobs hurt, but we can technically handle 2 at a time. Once you have the mages, you have a lot more freedom to find the knights, as they spawn more abundantly at the entrance to this road to Hearthglen, and they're easier to single pull. So move back southwest and kill the 2 knights.
That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet.
Lastly, just south of here is another Scarlet camp where we'll find a bunch of hunters and medics. They're huddled about real tight. It's very tricky, you'll likely be unable to get anything less than a double pull, but you should be able to handle double pulls nonetheless. These mobs are also lower level, so it's not that bad, but just beware that the medics like to spam heals and try to interrupt them as you are killing them, and you should manage to get the mobs you need. When you've got them, head back north to Kirsta. Turn in the quest Unfinished Business and accept the follow-up. The next quest wants us to kill 2 named mobs, and they are both on the road leading to Hearthglen that we just killed the mages on. So ride back south and get on the path and avoid the 2 front lines of defense until you can drop aggro and get past them. The first named mob is on the path east into the mountains, not very far up the road. She is surrounded by several pulls of Scarlet mobs that we can single pull and double pull to get access to her.
It's too far away. I can't do that yet.
When you finally get a pull of Huntsman Radley, you'll likely be dealing with her Wolf Bloodshot and another ad. Try to get in Radley's face to stop her from using her bow. The mobs by themselves aren't particularly dangerous, it's just the risk of how many you need to deal with at once. Focus down Radley so you complete the quest in case things go south, then finish off the ads. Once you're done, head back on the road and go north until you reach the first watchtower on the east side. At this watchtower, we need to kill Cavalier Durgan. He patrols to the top and the bottom of the tower. Trying to clear inside is basically suicide. You'll aggro 2 or more higher level casters, so don't even try. Instead, clear the Avengers at the base of the tower, then grab the caster that patrols around the outside.
I can't do that. The ability isn't ready yet.
Then wait for Durgan to patrol through the doorway and pull him. And by himself, he's easy peasy. If you accidentally get a caster ad from inside, just use the line of sight offered by the tower to avoid taking damage from them while you kill Durgan.
More rage. I'm out of range. I need to get closer. I can't do that. That ability isn't ready.
Once you take out Durgan, you literally just hop, skip, and jump southwest from the tower and you'll find the quest turn-in NPC down below. So head down to Kirsta and turn in unfinished business for the final follow-up.
What can I do for you?
Now the last follow-up is pretty risky, but we'll likely run out of quests to 60 anyway, so we might as well do it unless you love grinding. The quest wants us to climb atop a tower in Hearthglen, and that's it. But the tower is filled with elites, as is Hearthglen. It's very possible to do this without dying, but also a good chance you'll die. So the first step is to get back on the road that leads into Hearthglen and ride through all the mobs as best you can until you see the gates of Hearthglen. Ride up through one of the guards so that you only get hit once, so you lower your chance to get dazed, and try to get hit from the front. Then go around the left and up the hill and circle around into the front of the tower. Ride inside as you dismount, start using CC like Piercing Howl, and run around until you reach the top. When you get to the top, do a circle around to complete the quest, then hop off the tower and run south into the trees. You should hopefully be able to drop aggro from the elites from the tower. If you cannot, you can try to hamstring and CC and keep running out of Hearthglen until you get out of combat or die. Then res or just mount up, then hop, skip, and jump on back down south over the cliffs to Kirsta and turn in the quest for a cool 6k experience.
Hey there.
Great job! The next stop is back to Chillwind Point. When you get back to Chillwind Camp, turn in the quest Return to Chillwind Camp and accept Target Withering Haunt.
Need help?
Once more, with feeling this time, clear your way through or around Andorhal, this time heading east towards the Riding Haunt, and pick off more skeletons as you go. When you get to the Riding Haunt, first let's deal with the Cauldron. We're at the point where the mobs are no longer pushovers, even though we should be around 57 now. The ghouls here all suck, so try to kill as few as possible, and get to the Cauldron Lord Razark in the front of the Cauldron.
More rage.
Clear around to get to him safely. He also likes to summon skeletons, so make sure you interrupt him. When he dies, loot his key, and then fight your way to a clean cauldron interaction to turn in target riding haunt and accept the follow-up return to Chillwind Camp.
Do that yet. That ability isn't ready.
Try to avoid pulls of 2 or more of these ghouls here because the freezing ghouls hard CC us and it leaves us super vulnerable. But we do want to clear our way into the eastern house. You can suicide to this NPC in the house or just take your time.
That ability isn't ready yet.
In the house, you should find a Tauren on the ground and talk to him to accept the quest The Wildlife Suffers 2, then clear northward out of the riding haunt.
Need more rage.
For this quest, The Wildlife Suffers 2, we need to kill 8 diseased wolves. They spawn all around western Plaguelands, mostly north of the main road. The problem with the wolves is that they share spawns with the spiders in this area as well, meaning each time you kill a wolf or a spider can respawn in its place. So this can be really easy to find all 8, or it can be really hard. The wolves themselves put a sucky disease on you, but honestly you should be used to that shit by now. Everything in this zone does that, and warriors can't really do anything about it unless you're carrying a million jungle remedies.
Not ready yet. Need a target.
Once you get the 8 wolves you need, we will go back to the Tauren in the house. You can again clear through the ghouls, or you can just suicide into the Tauren and then try and run away with your life.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Turn in the quest The Wildlife Suffers 2 and accept the follow-up of the same name, then head out of the riding haunt again.
Far away. I'm out
This time around, we need to kill diseased grizzlies, and they'll mainly be found around the lake and south of the road. They are generally much easier to find than the wolves, and again, nothing special, they're just bears.
not ready yet.
Once you kill all 8, one last time, you need to get to the house in the riding haunt, by clearing or running to it for your life. Usually by the 3rd time, I'm pretty tired of killing the ghouls and just make a run for it. Talk to the Tauren and turn in The Wildlife Suffers 2 and accept the final follow-up, Glyphed Oaken Branch. Then we will be done here. Now we want to go back to Chillwind Camp, but we also need to be done with skeletal fragments now. So if you are not, take this time in Andorhal and kill all the skeletons you need to complete the quest.
I can't. Not ready yet.
Then go back to Chillwind Camp. In Chillwind, turn in skeletal fragments and accept mold rhymes with ... Then turn in Return to Chillwind Camp. You don't need to accept the follow-up just yet though. Clear up your bags and then do one of 2 things. If Cenarian Hold is working on your server, you should know by now from the indicators I mentioned in the last parts of this guide, you can Hearth to Menethil. But if Cenarian Hold is not working, do not Hearth to Menethil, instead just fly there. In Menethil Harbor, hop on the southern boat to Theramore. When you get to Theramore, this is going to be our last time here for this leveling guide, so train your first aid if you haven't yet. Otherwise, fly to Gadgetzan. When you land, head into Gadgetzan. You'll find the quest turn-in for Mold Rhymes with Gold. This quest wants 15 gold and gives Dick All experience, and the follow-ups do give a lot of experience, but they require 2 thorium bars. If you have the 2 thorium bars, it's worth it to spend 15 gold to do this quest. This quest is the one that will get you the Scholomance key. But if you don't have the thorium bars, don't bother with this. Don't waste the 15 gold for just 600 experience. That being said, if you do have the bars and turn this in, make sure you grab the thorium bars from your bank or your mailbox now. Also, while you're here, turn in the quest Pawn Captures Queen and accept the follow-up Calm Before the Storm.
Keep it real. What up? Be good.
And just outside of the Alchemist, you should also spot the Goblin Sprinkle. Use Umi's Mechanical Yeti on her to scare her. Then we will be heading southeast through Tanaris. Our target is the pirate area we were at a long time ago, and now's the time that we want to open that Aquamentis bag. When you open this bag, be sure that you loot every single item out of the bag or the quest can bug and fail. When you get to the Lost Rigger Cove, avoid the pirates and go around the outer western walls of the camp, and on the south side you'll find a nook into the mountains with a circle of stones. Use the book to summon Aquamentis, but stay in the circle. He'll go aggressive, and even at 3 levels lower he hits hard, so play smart and make sure you fight him within the circle and you should complete the quest very easily. Once it's done, our next target is back in Ungoro, so ride across the desert. This will be our last time visiting Ungoro in this guide, so make sure you reapply Venomhide Poison to your weapons as your first stop when you get there. Then, if you have the 2 thorium bars and Fireplume Forged quest, go up to Fireplume Ridge in the middle. You'll have to clear your way to the top, and on the edge of the lava up there, use the mold with the thorium bars to complete the quest. Then ride north to Marshall's Refuge. In Marshall's Refuge, find Quixil next to the trees and use Umi's Mechanical Yeti. This should complete the quest Are We There Yeti? Then head into the back of the cave to JD Collie. Turn in the quest Aquamentis and accept Lincoln's adventure, then go back out of the cave.
Very well then.
Turn it in at Lincoln and you should have the final quest now to kill Blaze Runner and get your boomerang trinket. This quest is almost soloable, easily done in a group, but I will not cover it in this guide. If you can find someone to help you, you can go kill Blaze Runner atop Fireplume Ridge for your boomerang trinket, otherwise we are done with this part of the leveling guide. At this point in the guide, we will split up. If Cenarian Hold is available and its quests, continue to part 20.5 of this leveling guide where we will go over the Silithus quests and we will start running to Silithus from here. If the Cenarian Hold quests are not available, then you should have your Hearthstone up, so hearth out of here back to Menethil Harbor and we will continue on with part 21 of my leveling guide. The guys going to 20.5 will have an easier time, but ultimately will rejoin the guide in part 21 once they finish Silithus. So see you guys in the next part. Until then, I am booping out.